In the frozen silence of an early morning on Ukraine's eastern front, a pale mist hung low over the shattered forest. Every branch, every leaf, and every mound of snow concealed a story of survival and death. The land had become a graveyard of steel and bone, a place where even the trees seemed to whisper warnings of what was coming. For 2 Russian soldiers, this desolate woodland offered what they believed was a final refuge. Exhausted, cut off from their unit, and hunted by unseen enemies, they stumbled through the frost-bitten undergrowth, searching desperately for cover. Their uniforms were caked with mud, their rifles heavy with cold. Each breath they took formed small clouds in the frigid air, marking their position for anyone watching through a scope. Moments earlier, a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone had spotted movement along the tree line near a ruined village outside Bakhmut, an area long contested and drenched in blood. The drone's operator, watching from miles away, zoomed in to confirm. There they were, 2 Russian soldiers moving cautiously between the trees, unaware that the Azov sniper team was already zeroing in. The coordinates were transmitted instantly to a hidden observation post. Within minutes, a 2-man sniper cell from the Azov regiment repositioned. They were veterans, calm, methodical, and patient. Known by their call signs Raven and Wolf, they had spent months perfecting their craft, taking out Russian scouts, officers, and forward observers with chilling precision. The snipers moved silently through the brush, their ghillie suits blending seamlessly with the winter landscape. From a shallow ridge overlooking the forest, Raven lay prone, his rifle steady on a bipod, the long barrel wrapped in camouflage tape. Through his scope, he could see everything: the flicker of movement, the twitch of a shadow, the faint glint of metal. The Russians were hiding behind 2 trees, whispering to each other, one peering cautiously through binoculars. They thought they were safe, concealed by the forest, protected by distance. They were wrong. At 8:16, Raven exhaled slowly, his gloved finger tightening on the trigger. The first shot cracked like thunder. The bullet traveled faster than sound, cutting through the still morning air and striking its target before the echo reached the trees. The first Russian dropped instantly. No sound, no warning. The second froze, panic surging through his body. He ducked behind the trunk, firing blindly toward the ridge, but it was useless. The Azov snipers had already shifted position. Wolf, the spotter-turned-secondary shooter, adjusted his scope and took aim at the edge of the tree. The second shot came less than 5 seconds later. Clean, precise, final. The forest fell silent once again. When Ukrainian reconnaissance confirmed the kills, the drone circled overhead, capturing the aftermath. The footage, later shared among Ukrainian units, became a symbol of precision warfare, how discipline and training could turn the chaos of battle into an exact science. These were not random shots. They were deliberate, coordinated actions carried out by soldiers who had long learned that patience wins wars. For the Azov sniper teams, each engagement was more than a kill. It was a message. No matter how well the enemy hides, there is nowhere left untouched by the watchful eyes of Ukraine's defenders. Hours later, the Ukrainian infantry patrol moved in to secure the area. They found the 2 Russian soldiers exactly where the drone had marked them, one lying face down in the mud, the other slumped against a shattered pine. The ground around them was littered with spent shell casings and a broken radio. Their camouflage nets had been torn apart by the shockwave of the bullets. It was over in less than a minute. But this small skirmish carried far deeper significance. It reflected a larger truth about modern warfare in Ukraine. This is no longer a war of tanks and trenches alone. It's a war of eyes, information, and precision. The forest that day became a microcosm of the larger struggle, where every mistake, every exposed movement, and every misplaced belief in safety can mean instant death. The Russian soldiers believed they had escaped detection, but technology and skill had turned the battlefield into a chessboard they could not read. Military analysts later confirmed that sniper operations like this have become one of the defining features of Ukraine's defense. According to independent reports, Azov and other elite Ukrainian units have integrated sniping, drones, and electronic warfare into seamless coordination, allowing small teams to control vast areas with minimal resources. Each engagement is recorded, analyzed, and used to refine tactics. It's an intelligence-driven war, where the rifle and the drone act as one. In this encounter, 2 Russian soldiers became another data point in that brutal equation. One more entry in a ledger written in smoke, steel, and blood. Their deaths were not random acts of violence. They were the predictable outcome of a system honed by months of precision, training, and adaptation. The Ukrainian forces, battle-hardened by years of relentless combat, have evolved faster than their adversaries. They have learned that victory in this war does not belong to those with the largest tanks or loudest artillery. It belongs to those who can see, think, and strike first. Every engagement like this is a reflection of that evolution. From the frontline trenches to the command rooms miles away, Ukraine's defenders are adapting, integrating Western technology with their own creativity, combining satellite intelligence, drone surveillance, and sniper teams into a single lethal network. This hybrid battlefield is no longer just a clash of soldiers. It's a fusion of human instinct and machine precision. And in that space, the Azov snipers stand as some of the most feared and respected warriors on the front. Often demonized by Russian propaganda, the Azov regiment has continued to redefine modern combat. Their discipline, coordination, and psychological resilience make them more than mere marksmen. They are strategists in camouflage. Every shot fired is calculated, measured, and meant not just to eliminate an enemy, but to send a message. A message that no matter how far Russian soldiers advance, no matter where they try to hide, the watchful eye of Ukraine will find them. As evening descended upon the forest, the last light of day broke through the canopy like fading embers. It painted the shattered rifles and dented helmets in dull gold, transforming the brutal aftermath into a haunting still life of war. The air was thick with the acrid scent of gunpowder and burned leaves. The wind stirred gently through the trees, whispering through the branches that had witnessed the entire exchange. In that moment, the battlefield seemed frozen in time, a quiet echo of what had just unfolded, a reminder that war does not pause, even when the guns fall silent. From miles away, drone operators replayed the footage again and again. Analysts zoomed in on the impact points, studying trajectory, wind drift, and range. Every pixel of data was another lesson, another improvement for the next engagement. For the soldiers watching the feed in dimly lit bunkers, this was not about vengeance. It was about mastery, a silent affirmation that their training, patience, and courage were working. Each confirmed hit wasn't just a tactical win. It was a moral boost in a war where exhaustion and fear often outweighed ammunition. By nightfall, the footage reached Ukrainian telegram channels and military archives. The video spread rapidly, first among soldiers, then across the public. The caption was simple, but it resonated deeply. 2 Russians hide behind trees. Big mistake against Azov snipers. Within hours, it became one of the most discussed clips of the week, analyzed by military bloggers, praised by Western analysts, and feared by those still fighting on the other side. Some viewers saw it as vengeance for countless Ukrainian soldiers lost in the forests of the East. Others viewed it as justice, the natural consequence of an invasion that brought suffering to millions. But for those still in the trenches, watching from flickering screens and cold dugouts, it was something far more personal. It was proof that their comrades on the line were not alone, that their precision and discipline could still shift the balance of this grinding war. This was not an isolated event. Across the front, small victories like this happen daily, unseen, uncelebrated, yet each one shaping the course of the conflict. A sniper's bullet, a drone's camera, a single decision in the chaos. Each carries the weight of history. The men of Azov know this. For them, what happened in that forest wasn't an act of luck, nor just another mission. It was part of a rhythm, the rhythm of survival, resistance, and dominance. And so, as the night deepened, the legend of that morning began to spread. It passed from one soldier to another, from trench to trench, from front line to command post, told in quiet voices between bursts of shellfire. 2 Russians hide behind trees. Big mistake against Azov snipers. It became not just a report, but a story. A symbol of vigilance and skill, of how modern warfare rewards those who remain unseen yet always aware. For military historians, this moment may one day serve as an example of how technology and instinct merged to define a new kind of battle. For the soldiers living it, it's a simple truth, that in this war, even a second of hesitation can mean the difference between life and death. This was not a lucky shot. It was a masterclass in precision, patience, and professionalism, the pure essence of modern sniping on the 21st century battlefield. It showcased how a single bullet fired from hundreds of meters away can alter the momentum of an entire sector. It was a silent but powerful statement that even in the fog of war, the hands of trained marksmen can carve order out of chaos. As the screen fades to black, remember, what you've just witnessed is more than a story. It's a glimpse into the evolving face of warfare, where courage and calculation decide fate in seconds. It's the story of a nation that refuses to surrender, of soldiers who fight not just for territory, but for existence, for honor, for each other. And for those who watch from afar, analysts, historians, and ordinary viewers, it's a reminder that history is not written in books alone. It's written here, in the forests and fields of Ukraine, in the silence between gunshots, in the courage of men who choose to stand and fight. Follow Delta History to witness more true, deeply researched battlefield stories from the front lines of modern war. Here, we uncover the untold realities behind the headlines, the strategy, the sacrifice, and the humanity that define this generation of soldiers. Because every moment in history begins with one decision and one shot.